Hi friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome back if you're a returning subscriber. My name's Jonathan. I make luxury videos, unboxings, and reviews. And today we're talking about my luxury handbag rules. So let's get into it. Before I get started with today's video, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help my channel grow. I make videos every other day on Louis Vuitton. So if you like that kind of content or simply want to see more of me, then definitely hit that like and subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. So this video was something that Mandy from Just One More Bag 01 did. She put out this video last week expressing her rules that she does when she decides on purchasing a handbag. I thought this was a very great idea just because I've been watching a lot of luxury YouTube over the past few years, and I'm always curious as to what people think about when they decide to add a handbag in their collection. Just because so many of us have very unique and curated collections, I'm always curious as to what they decided and how they decided to add that bag. Without further ado, let's get into the reasons as to how I curated my luxury collection. So let's get into it. So my rule number one is, should it be a handbag or should it be an SLG? When I see these new handbags coming out and they're in a variety of different patterns, prints, styles, I decide on whether or not do I like this bag as a handbag or do I like the print more on an SLG, which is why I have an extensive pocket organizer collection, just because I would find it very difficult, at least for me, to style some of these unique pattern handbags that Louis Vuitton puts out. So that's why I always decide on, do I want to have a unique style handbag or do I want to have it in a pocket organizer to keep me content for that collection? So that is kind of like my rule number one, just because I can have all of these handbags in a variety of different prints, but if I don't wear them because they're hard to style, I wouldn't see the point. Obviously, I have some of them in my collection, such as the paint can or the shopper tote, but I've been able to style those quite easily. And so I think having a louder handbag print might not necessarily be for me. So when a new collection comes out and I see all of these new styles, I consider to myself, would I like it more in a handbag or would I like it more as an SLG? The second rule that I use to curate my collection is, how often will I use this piece and will I get my wear per use out of it? So for the most part, I travel to and from work, and then on the weekends, I kind of try to do a little bit of shopping or go out. So for the most part, I'm not carrying larger bags with me, which is why my collection doesn't have too many larger handbags and consists of more small to medium handbag sizes. The reason for that is because when I go to work, I like to carry a bunch of things with me that I need for my work, such as my car keys, my tokens, my wallet, things that I would need to have with me on a daily travel. Thankfully, I only work from the office 3 out of the 5 days a week, so I don't need to carry too much with me. And only recently, I've been starting to bring my laptop more. So I've been carrying two bags, one backpack, as well as one handbag, just so that way if I go out for lunch, I don't need to carry a backpack with me. So when I'm looking to buy a new bag, I definitely have to consider, how often will I use it. Granted, my work has some events, so I do have a little bit more dressed up pieces just because they like to put on some great events. So I like to bring a unique handbag to those just because my coworkers seem to like that and they always ask me or admire the pieces that I bring. So when I'm looking for a new handbag, I definitely consider how often I will use it, how many events I'm going to be going to that year, and will I realistically get the wear per use out of it that I am okay with. So rule number three is going to be, do I have this in a classic silhouette or is there a hole in my collection? And so with that, I mean, for example, my Speedy P9. Had I not had the Speedy 30 in traditional canvas, I probably wouldn't have purchased the P9, just because I've never had that traditional bag in my collection yet. I've seen it, I've held it, I've seen other people with the Speedy, but I personally haven't had any use of it myself, so I wasn't able to determine if that was a bag that would work for me. So when I purchased my Speedy 30 and I used it as my daily work bag, I absolutely loved the silhouette, which is why I was able to entertain the idea of purchasing the P9. Had I not had the traditional Speedy 30 in my collection, I don't see how I could justify spending the $14,000 on the Speedy P9, because what if it didn't work for me? And so that's why I always want to make sure that I have a classic silhouette style first before I entertain a much more expensive version of the handbag. However, I know that that is not necessarily always the case. So, for example, my Louis Vuitton shopper tote, that bag only comes out in leather materials. And so I decided that because this was going to be a classic style that Louis Vuitton is going to keep, and they may not necessarily put it out in canvas, I went with the color option that I would be comfortable with compared to the other color styles. I know I could have gotten the all black version. However, I feel as though I have a lot of black handbags in my collection that I kind of wanted to steer away from that. So that's why I went with that option. So my third rule is always make sure you have a classic or traditional piece first before you venture out and spend more money on the more expensive versions. My last rule is if I don't buy the bag, will I regret it later? And to be honest, there are no bags that I didn't buy that I regretted later, just because there was always something new that caught my eye after. So, to be honest with you, don't worry about it. If you don't have the funds for it now, you'll have it later, and then wait and get the bag that will absolutely make your heart sing. Especially recently, Louis Vuitton has been doing a lot of re releases of old collections. So, I've been seeing a lot of videos, and I'm kind of agreeing with them a little bit that there is no real originality anymore for some of these collections that are coming out. They're realistically just copy and pastes from 20 years ago, and it's kind of not giving me that desire to buy those bags. So I'm hoping and waiting for some newer styles to come out and newer silhouettes, just because I've kind of seen all of this stuff before and I've gotten the pieces that I've wanted. So my last and final rule is if I don't buy the bag, will I regret it later? You probably won't, but that is something for you to decide. And that is something that I personally haven't had any issues with. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed today's video, and thank you to Mandy for this great idea. I would love to hear your thoughts and idea as to what do you guys think about when you want to purchase a new handbag, or what do you think about when you're trying to curate your perfect designer collection? Let me know down in the comment section below. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts. And with that being said, if you like this kind of content or simply want to see more of me, then definitely hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.